What if you've been pretty sexual, pretty sensual, and all of a sudden the desire goes away? It can be really hard and really confusing. This is Reid Mihalko from readaboutsex.com.
Cathy Vartuli from the intimacydojo.com. So what do you do? Is it because people are taking medication? Is it that somebody just had a baby and you're all sleep deprived? What's going on?
Well, I think it's really important to rule out medical conditions like hormone imbalances or illness, medication.
Stress at work.
Yeah. If you had a child, whatever it is. But if none of those things are the cause, it can be very confusing. Like it feels kind of like your body isn't working right anymore. And it can be hard if you have relationships too. So what do you suggest to people?
Well, I mean, the big thing that I always talk about is talking about it and understanding that sometimes people don't talk or share things that are going on right away because they're trying to get clarity, or like if there's stress on the job or something like that, like their mind is in other places, so it wouldn't occur to them to talk about it. But most people I'm finding when I work with people in coaching and whatnot, they're not talking about it because they don't know what to talk about yet, so there's just no clarity. They're afraid to talk about it, or a combination of both. And then every once in a while, you'll get people who are just clueless, like they just haven't noticed what's going on, so that's why they're not talking about it. And then there are people that just refuse to talk about it, which kind of usually loops back to fear and stuff like that.
I think knowing that there's probably nothing, like it's easy to feel like you're broken, like there's something wrong. But realizing that probably a lot of people do go through periods where they don't feel sexy. They don't feel turned on by people. And letting your partners know that it's something's going on, so they don't feel like, what happened? Like usually that feels really good and you're not responding. And hope that they have some patience can be useful. Also exploring what does turn you on. Is there something new or something different that your body wants? And maybe being patient with yourself.
Other things to understand is, especially in American culture, I mean, with these videos, people can be watching from all over the world and from different cultures, but especially with American culture, there's this overachievingness in the bedroom, and this, like, if you're not horny all the time, or having sex all the time, or having sex where the orgasms are knocking, end tables over from the bed.
Tearing walls,
then somehow you're broken, something's wrong, you're missing out on the opportunity. And what has happened in this overachievingness in our society right now is that people have forgotten that things have ebb and flows. And that sometimes, for whatever reason, could be all kinds of different reasons, none of them necessarily wrong, you're just not feeling it, or you're feeling disconnected. So not panicking is a great first step. And then, if you can, starting to notice what your thoughts are doing to you about these things. Like, what are you making things mean? If you knew it was just a phase, or that it was normal, then everything's fine. I mean, we talk about like people's Saturn returns. Like, it's okay that you're struggling, because it's a 7-year cycle. And whether you believe in that stuff or not, or that Mercury's in retrograde, then all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, you give yourself permission for things to be off. We don't do that in American culture around sexuality. Not nowadays. So giving yourself permission to not panic is a really great place to start, and then start talking to people who can listen. And if you have family members or in a relationship where people can't have these kind of conversations, then please go see a therapist. Have somebody who's a trained listener, so you can get the experience of being witnessed while you find your voice to start putting words to these things.
One thing to also notice is, the study was only done on women, but they found that if a woman wasn't turned on, her disgust level was much higher. So realize that if things that you normally love to do, suddenly, like, it could be that if you're going through a phase like this, it may be harder to do things that you would have normally loved to do. With if your body is not turned on, things like someone orgasm coming in your mouth or bodily fluids might seem like, ooh, repulsive. It's actually, they've done some medical studies on women only, and that was part of the response they found. So if you can let your partner know that, hey, you're less open to doing certain things, honor what you need. Don't try to make yourself do it, because that's not, like...
It's usually not helpful.
Yeah. And just, if you can, realize that your responses are related to the hormones that are going through your body and your level of turn on.
And those hormones, like we said in the beginning of the video, might be being affected by a bunch of different variables: medication, stress at work, just having had a child, or having your partner having had a child. Like, again, this isn't just a female body thing. This can happen for us penis owners as well.
We'd love to know what you think. Have you ever run into this, and what did you do to help yourself? Thanks very much, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right.